Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have any audio on this right now? Yes, no, yes, we do. Okay, thanks. Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn, and it's the noon edition of Welcome to My World. It is Friday, the 8th of January, and so we've certainly had a lot of trades this morning, haven't we? And just about every market. It's really nice to see people posting their trades and sharing trades in here because it's very helpful, especially to new people. I think we can all kind of remember when we were new and trying to figure out what in the world is going on. This will make sense to you if you pay attention and you follow those rules. We've had a couple people post in the chat today about the significance of following the rules. And I can't tell you how many people have put little notes in here of how they were having so many problems and no, they just didn't know. And then it finally clicked. If I follow the rules, I do well. When I don't follow the rules, I don't. Not so much. So I know there is a new video that is up in the forum, and I think if you scroll up in the chat, there is a link to the video from last night. It should be very helpful, and I really recommend everybody take a look at that. The other thing, we're real lucky today that we've got Daryl in the room, so take advantage of asking him the questions because he is the master of the answering questions here, and the real nitty gritty. He's really, really good. So if you've got some questions that you want to try and understand better, be sure and let him know because he's the real deal. So anyway, what I have been noticing here is that these indices are all pretty much on the same page. It looks like TF went on this down run, was a little bit stronger than its friends, but they all have been moving in concert today. So it's sometimes you will see one that's a little bit stronger than the other one, and it may be a little easier to trade. Today they're all just about the same. The dollar has not moved too much along with the euro. And I was going to take a short on the Canadian dollar earlier and started looking at something else. I think that's the story of our lives. We see something and we're going to look into that, and then when we get back to it, we remember that we forgot to do that. So next week, we've got on Monday, we've got not a lot of news on Monday morning, and that's typical of Monday mornings. But the thing you want to pay attention to on Monday mornings is if there has been any significant global news over the weekend, you're going to see all these talking heads and the Sunday morning financial geniuses. If you pay attention to that on TV, and it's Chicken Little and the sky is falling and all this, just please put a filter on your mind for that stuff. It's nice if you like to watch it and get a feel for what they're talking about, but do not bring that into your trading in here because I can tell you it's going to get in your way of reading the charts, going by the signals, and following the rules, which is exactly how you have profitable trades in here. Doesn't matter what those people are talking about. But if there is any kind of a big time change and anything happens in other parts of the world over the weekend, keep in mind that they don't have the same Saturdays and Sundays that we do because of the time difference. You might see some volatility on Monday morning as a result of that, but it likely will not be the Monday morning scheduled news. Okay? So next week, we are also going to have options expiration on that Friday, the 15th. It's the third Friday. I think I mentioned before how useful it is to make yourself a calendar and put all of the significant news events. And if you like to trade crude oil, get those OPEC meetings on there. If you are trading these indices and or bonds, be sure you know when the FOMC meets, those kinds of things, so you can be aware of that ahead of time. And also, if you're trading futures in particular, when these contracts roll. I have a calendar and I put that on there so I don't all of a sudden at the last minute, gee, why isn't this chart working? Well, if you were on the right contract, it probably would work better. So get in front of that stuff so you can plan ahead to either roll the contracts after your trading day or over the weekend or whatever is appropriate. But when you have a calendar all laid out, I find that very, very helpful. So I wanted to show you one other thing. I don't know if any of you have been looking. Lori did a great post, and I'm trying to get a better feel on her slings and elevators, because I noticed that on bonds, and I'm talking about ZB, I have not looked at ZN, but I'm thinking it's probably pretty close. These elevators are absolutely dynamite in that market. They work extremely well. There's always at least a 10-tick profit, and it's a safe one. It takes a little longer than you might want, but it'll get you there. She has not tested crude oil, and I've been kind of watching this to see how this might work. And her favorite one that she's got this on the last post. I think she put the link in yesterday. If you have an interest in learning that one, her favorite one is when you get a sling coming off of a major street like Settlement. And this bar right here did not go all the way up, but she is taking these entries with a 5-tick stop loss, which I think is remarkable. And I know she's tested this on YM and on TF with great success. But this is good for a nice trade. And what she does is wait until it forms. She likes them to come all the way back up to the street, which may or may not happen. In this case, it didn't by a couple of ticks. But on the other hand, if you're trailing this down, you just want to, you understand that when the bus driver gets to a major street, and Settlement is the biggest boulevard in Apex land, there's going to be some oscillation in here because the bus driver has a lot of passengers. He's letting off and taking on new passengers at these major streets. But when he starts down and then goes back up towards this street, Lori says that these are really good. So I'm watching for these on crude oil now. And if anybody is interested, she put an excellent post in the forum on that. So that's about it. I don't see too much else. If you notice, all the indices turned around right at the same time. There was a reversal right at 11:30, and that is sometimes pretty common. So we'll see if they hold. They're buying back a bunch of contracts right at between 11:30 and 12, and it looks like that could continue, but into the close, there has been some volatility on these indices. So that's good for people who sometimes you have appointments or you can't trade in the morning. The indices going into the close can sometimes be nice trades. So don't think just because you couldn't trade in the morning, which is your favorite time, there are some ticks to be had many times in the afternoon. So, having said that, I will sign off and see you all next Monday morning. This has been my view from my world in Apex land, brought to you by Apex Investing. Thanks.